The year is 1774. A shadow falls across the 13 colonies. Tension hangs heavy in the air, a palpable force. The relationship between Great Britain and her American colonies has grown strained. A frayed rope stretched taut. The once unthinkable notion of a complete break, a severing of ties, begins to whisper in the hearts of men. At the heart of this brewing storm lies a fundamental disagreement, a clash of ideologies. The colonists, fiercely independent and proud, cling tightly to their hard-won liberties. They bristle under the increasingly restrictive hand of the British Crown, a hand that reaches across the Atlantic to tighten its grip on their affairs. The cry of no taxation without representation echoes through the colonies, a rallying cry for those who see their freedoms eroding under British rule. Each new act of Parliament, each new tax levied without their consent, serves only to deepen the divide. The stage is set for a confrontation, a moment of truth that will determine the fate of a nation. The fuse has been lit. The question is, will it be extinguished, or will it ignite the fires of revolution? In the heart of Boston, a city already seething with resentment, the flames of rebellion ignite. The year is 1773, and the infamous Boston Tea Party becomes a turning point, a dramatic act of defiance that reverberates across the Atlantic. The colonists, disguised as Native Americans, board British ships and cast chests of tea into the harbor, a symbolic rejection of British authority and their perceived tyranny. The response from King George III and the British Parliament is swift and severe. The Intolerable Acts, a series of punitive measures designed to punish the rebellious colonists and reassert British control, are unleashed upon the colonies. These acts, far from quelling the unrest, serve only to fan the flames of rebellion higher. The port of Boston, the lifeblood of the Massachusetts colony, is closed until the tea is paid for. The cherished Massachusetts charter is revoked, stripping the colony of its self-governance. British troops flood into Boston, transforming the city into what feels like an occupied territory. These acts of retaliation, far from isolating the Massachusetts colony, have the opposite effect. A wave of outrage and sympathy sweeps through the colonies. The plight of Boston resonates deeply with those who see their own liberties under threat. A sense of shared purpose, a realization that they must stand together or fall divided, begins to take root. The Intolerable Acts, meant to isolate and punish, instead act as a catalyst. Across the 13 colonies, a sense of urgency takes hold. The time for talk, it seems, has passed. The time for action is at hand. From the bustling port cities to the rural farmlands, the call goes out. A Continental Congress must be convened. A gathering of delegates representing the interests of all the colonies is needed to address this unprecedented crisis. Only through a united front, it is believed, can the colonies hope to resist the might of the British Empire. In Virginia, fiery Patrick Henry, a man whose words have the power to stir souls, declares, "The distinctions between Virginians, Pennsylvanians, New Yorkers, and New Englanders are no more. I am not a Virginian, but an American." His words capture the growing sentiment of unity, the realization that their common cause transcends colonial boundaries. From Massachusetts to Georgia, committees of correspondence, formed to maintain communication between the colonies, spring into action. Letters are exchanged, plans are debated, and delegates are chosen. The wheels of revolution, set in motion by the Intolerable Acts, begin to turn. As the summer of 1774 descends upon the colonies, a sense of anticipation hangs in the air. From every corner of the 13 colonies, delegates journey towards Philadelphia, the city chosen to host this unprecedented gathering. These are not career politicians, but men of action, chosen for their intellect, their passion, and their unwavering commitment to the cause of liberty. Among them stands a towering figure, a Virginia planter and soldier named George Washington. A man of few words but unwavering resolve, Washington brings with him a quiet strength and a reputation for integrity that commands respect. His presence alone speaks volumes about the gravity of the situation. John Adams, a fiery lawyer from Massachusetts, arrives with his cousin Samuel Adams, a master of political organization and a driving force behind the Sons of Liberty. John Adams, a man of sharp intellect and even sharper tongue, is known for his unwavering belief in the rights of the colonists. Patrick Henry, whose fiery oratory has already inflamed the passions of many, brings his eloquence to Philadelphia, ready to rally his fellow delegates to action. These men and many others like them are the faces of defiance, the embodiment of a nation on the brink of revolution. In the heart of Philadelphia, Carpenter's Hall stood as more than just a building. It became a symbol, a crucible where ideas were forged and the future of a nation was debated. Delegates from 12 of the 13 colonies gathered here, each bringing their hopes, fears, and aspirations. The air was thick with tension and anticipation. Here, in this hall, the seeds of revolution were sown, setting the stage for the birth of a new nation. In 1774, the American colonies, though diverse in many ways, found common ground in their resistance to British policies. This unity, forged through shared grievances and aspirations, became a powerful force. The colonies began to speak with one voice, a voice that demanded respect and autonomy from British rule. As tensions escalated, the colonies took decisive action. They agreed to a collective boycott of British goods, a move designed to hit Britain where it hurt the most: its economy. This pact of non-importation and non-consumption was not just about economic pressure, it was a statement of solidarity and resolve. The colonies were no longer passive subjects, they were active participants in their destiny. The First Continental Congress, convened in September of 1774, marked a pivotal moment in American history. Delegates from 12 of the 13 colonies gathered in Philadelphia, bringing together a wealth of ideas and perspectives. Through intense debate and discussion, they crafted a unified response to British oppression, laying the groundwork for a new, collective American identity. The decisions made by the First Continental Congress resonated far beyond the walls of their meeting hall. Their actions set the stage for the birth of a new nation, founded on principles of liberty and self-governance. The seeds of revolution had been sown, and the colonies were ready to fight for their freedom. The journey to independence had truly begun.